What kind of democracy do we live in? Where government, via dishonesty or ignorance, silence those whom they purport to represent. I'll be talking to Alex Antich, but not tonight. Again, I apologise. Well, I've just spoken about housing policy. It could be argued that the greater problem facing this country, greater than left-wing ideological rubbish that's being rammed down our throats, the far greater problem is the handful of people in the Albanese government, including the leader and Chalmers and Bowen, who think they know everything. Worse, they believe that in getting 32% of the primary vote 15 months ago, they've got a licence to run roughshod over the entire Australian electorate. On energy policy, I start from the premise that no one has been able to dispute, no one. How could carbon dioxide, which is 0.04% of the atmosphere, how could it possibly be responsible for everything it's blamed for? And yet here we are, turning public policy on its head and jeopardising our national economic future. 0.04% and demonise coal. Only 3%, by the way, of that 0.4%. Oh, jeez, I'm getting tied up here. Only 3%. I've said it so often, it's to the back of my head. But only 3% of that 0.04% is man-made across the world. The rest naturally occurs. 3%. And little old Australia down here is 1.3% of that 3% of 0.04%. Like, if we fall in behind this, we must be bonkers, and we're being run by bonker people, I'm telling you. Wood ducks. This is the new religion. You're demonised if you disagree. And this dangerous ego tripper Bowen lecturing us all. I mean, what the hell? Why do we have to listen to this bloke? Who the hell is he? What gives him this authority to, I am right and you'll do as I say? Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Bowen. The sooner we get you out of the National Parliament, the better. Here he is lecturing us all, telling us to get to this net zero target, we'll need a 43% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions by 2030. That is 22,500 watt solar panels every day for 8 years. Every day. 22,000 was supposed to have gone in today. They didn't. 47 megawatt wind turbines every month. This is dream world. And that's why Bowen is anxious and rattled and abusive, saying that Peter Dutton is being run by a cabal of climate deniers that run policy in the federal opposition. And on top of all of this, 10,000 kilometres, if you're lucky, of transmission lines. So you've got to get it from where the wind is blowing and the sun is shining into the grid. Look, I'm telling you again, this is impossible. You heard me say last week there's an outfit called Net Zero Australia, which is a partnership between the University of Melbourne, the University of Queensland, Princeton University, and an international management consultancy called Nous Group. Now, this mob actually believe in net zero, which is a bit of a worry, but they say their job is to educate communities and governments on the scale, complexity and cost of the net zero task. It says it's technology neutral. I would assert that any energy policy that's technology neutral can't abandon coal and gas. But this is the crowd who say that, quote, climate policy remains in the grip of an intelligentsia that lacks the wisdom to recognise the boundaries of its own ignorance. They're talking about Bowen, though I wouldn't rate him as part of the intelligentsia. But it's certainly true that Bowen and Chalmers and Albanese don't, quote, recognise the boundaries of their ignorance.